Hello everyone, thank you for tuning in again to another episode of CivilianTacticalWeapons.com. I've actually gotten so many different questions in regards to AUGs and the MSARs and the TPDs and the ones made by Steyr that I figured I would actually cover an article that was actually in this month's issue of SWAT. This month, considering I know when you're going to watch this episode, is actually the August 2009 edition. It covers basic gun operations that vary from anyone who's taken some standard AR-15, M4, M16 style training. The guns do operate a little bit differently. So the article is actually so well written, I figured I would go ahead and touch on some of the points and actually give you more of a visual representation than a bunch of verbiage of what they're referring to. Keep in mind, one thing you need to understand is everyone needs to understand the exact specific model of the AUG that you have. This is the MSAR. It will actually behave a little bit differently than other AUGs. So as far as if the magazine has a free drop, if it doesn't, you need to be aware of it. So a couple of things I want to talk about. The first thing I want to talk about was actually the hand position. So all of the AUGs have a fold up forward grip position. You mainly always want to fire the AUG with a forward grip position out like this. If you have it up like this, don't ever hold the gun like that. The actual gas port has holes on the top which actually vent some of the heat. So this whole area is extremely hot. You are going to scald your fingers if you actually think you're going to hold the gun like this. If you want to hold the gun like this, you can pull it back almost like an MP5 hold. So you actually hold the gun back down here. This is definitely more of an awkward hold. I wouldn't recommend it. I would actually recommend you always operate it with a forward pistol grip out. But for some reason, if you don't want to operate like that, you're doing maybe, for example, a bench fire or something, you've got the gun laying down on some sandbags or whatever, you may want to hold the gun back here. That's always an option. The other thing I want to do is talk about loading the gun. Any of you who actually have had an AR, you're kind of used to maybe going like this, where you actually put the magazine in and tap it. If you tap an AUG like this, you will actually cause a double feed. These guns are not designed, this is not the operation that you normally would do. If you do that, you'd actually pop another round up here that'd be loose, and then when you try to go ahead and close the slide up, go ahead and try a chamber round, you're going to double feed it and jam it up. With the AUGs, instead what you do is you take your magazine, you pick it up and pull it down. So it's a push-pull move, not a push-tap move. So remember that. Definitely a different bit of operation that some may find a little weird. So it's push up, pull down. The other thing too is the tactical reload. These will vary between different AUGs. So if I've got a magazine in there, what you can actually do is use the spine of the back of the magazine to actually push the mag release. Depending on which model you have, will determine if this is even feasibly possible. So like on mine, if I push it down, as you can see the magazine doesn't come out. I have to actually pull it down and slot the next mag in. So this is how you actually do the tactical mag reload on this one. And then drop, go ahead and use your your bolt closure right here. Which if you look here on the side on this one, this is back here. Other guns, you may not have this, you may not. I've actually noticed on each of the guns, this varies if you have this function or not. Some you may just go ahead and work it all through the charging handle. Which is actually another thing I want to mention. When you're ever using the charging handle, and I can't do it with this one, it'll actually keep the bolt open, but if I take the magazine, I can demonstrate it. When you're running the charging handle on these, don't ever ride the charging handle back forward. You need to pull it back and let it go. If you ride it forward, you can also cause a malfunction. So you want to go ahead and make sure you stay away from that. So remember, don't try to ride the charging handle forward. You can get away with it on some other firearms. This is not one you want to do that with. It is a common mistake most people do is they'll actually go ahead and try to ride the charging handle forward. Maybe make me a little quieter like that. If I ride the charging handle forward like that, I would probably jam up the gun. So it's pull back and let it go. Another unique thing about the AUG designs are because of the weight balance, the gun is all the way in the rear. You can actually do a single shot fire one-handed, and you can operate it just like a pistol one-handed. So for example, maybe you've got a situation where you're holding someone back here. These were actually used by the U.S. Customs. It was actually probably one of the major departments of the United States that actually adopted the AUG. The main reason they adopted it was if you're looking at moving around very small, close quarters type scenarios. The AUGs are about 4 to 5 inches shorter, so it's actually easier to maneuver around small areas. But because the weight balance is so far back, if in the case of an emergency, I can actually fire this whole gun from the hip. I can fire it like this. This is actually extremely comfortable to fire the gun one-handed without the gun even up at my shoulder. Of course, up on my shoulder, it's actually a bit easier to control. This here is actually very easy control. You can hold the gun like this for quite a long period of time. An AR with all the weight in the front, this is actually a lot more difficult to do. So I wanted to go ahead and cover those after reading the article. It's such an interesting bit because I know a lot of people are asking me about these and comparing these guns to other different types of 223 platforms. I want people to understand just some basic little minor adjustments they'll have to do to their tactics as far as deploying and operating any form of the AUG variants. So again, remember, if you have any questions, please email me at info@civiliantacticalweapons.com, and I hope to see you in next week's episode.